Hello everyone, and welcome to this peaceful and relaxing Yin Yoga class. I'm currently up here on Mount Graham with the beautiful birds and the trees, and I thought I would bring you guys along for a nice relaxing yoga class working on opening through the shoulders and the hips. There are no props required for this class, just you and your mat, so let's go ahead and get started. If you're new here, hey, my name's Alauna, and I post weekly yoga flows for free here on YouTube, but I also have a website where I upload even more yoga offerings, including hour-long virtual retreat classes. So if you enjoyed today's class, be sure to head over to alaunaroby.com and check it out. Beginning today's class in child's pose, you can bring the big toes to touch, knees apart to the outer edges of your mat, and walk the hands out and away from you as you lower the torso between the thighs and rest the forehead down between the arms. Bringing both your body and your mind into stillness throughout today's practice, and keep your awareness on the subtle movements that are caused by your breath. Both the air moving in and out over your lip, and the air expanding and contracting your chest between your thighs. Just becoming aware of how your body is feeling today. I'm using this moment to set an intention for our practice today of serenity, finding peace and stillness within your practice. One way that I really like to do this is by visualizing myself in a place that brings me serenity and makes me feel calm. So that could either be here on this mountain with me today or some other location around the world that you felt completely at peace. I want you to visualize yourself on your yoga mat in this place and finding your serenity. If throughout our practice today you begin to notice that your mind starts to think about and analyze this feeling of serenity, I encourage you to just come back to the breath and focus on truly feeling what it feels like to feel serene in every corner of your body. Focusing on moving slowly through the transitions today as to not surprise your body. Gently begin to lift the forehead up off of your mat. Keeping the legs as they are, just walk the hands over to the right. Then allow the forehead to relax back down. And breathe into the left side of your body, feeling it expand, filling it with serenity. On your next inhale, gently lift the forehead up and walk the hands back through center. And exhale over to the second side, letting the forehead relax and breathing into the right side of the body. Maybe just noticing the asymmetry in the body, how one side is different from the other. And just noticing, not judging, just accepting how your body is feeling today. On your next inhale, gently begin to recenter on your mat.
And you have two options here. You can either keep the legs exactly as they are for thread the needle pose, or if this is a little bit too much on your hips and your knees, you can go ahead and walk the knees underneath your hips, coming into all fours, and take thread the needle from here, keeping the hips directly on top of the knees. So either way, whichever variation in the legs will be most comfortable for you to hold for a few minutes. Inhale and reach the right hand high. Exhale to thread the right hand underneath the left side of the body, bringing the right shoulder and right cheek to the mat, finding comfortability in this pose, and breathing in to every corner of your body where you feel this stretch the most. Inhale slowly lifts you back up off of your mat, unwind, reach the right hand high. Exhale, lower the right hand back down to your mat and switch sides. So slowly inhale the left hand up high towards the sky. And exhale, thread the left hand underneath the right side of your body. Left shoulder and cheek come to the mat. And breathe in to the sensations of this pose. If you find that your mind begins to wander away from the sensations that you're feeling, bring your mind back to your intention and just repeat the words silently in your head. Serenity, serenity, serenity. On your next inhale, slowly unwind, reaching the left hand back up towards the sky. And exhale to release. Both hands come to the mat. Then moving into a comfortable seat, moving slowly, you can shift both feet off to one side and lower down onto your seat. Moving into deer pose, so this does take a little bit of setting up, so listen carefully. We're going to take the right leg out in front of us so that the right shin is parallel to the top of your mat and the right thigh bone is coming directly out from your right hip. Then lift that left leg and tuck it behind you. Again, the thigh bone is coming directly out from the hip, but the left shin is parallel to the left side of your mat. So you should be feeling a nice stretch through the inner thigh, inner left thigh here. And if you need a little bit more of a stretch, you can bring the hands behind you to rest, and maybe even walk the hands back a ways behind you. Just be sure to keep both knees grounded on the mat. If you need a little bit of support here, you can always tuck a block or a blanket underneath your knee so that it can be grounded and not just hanging out in empty space. And if you want to deepen the stretch even farther, you can lower the forearms down to the mat behind you. However, this is a little bit too much for me, so I'm going to stay lifted on my hands. But wherever you are, I encourage you to focus on your breath more than what you look like. It doesn't matter which variation of this pose you come into, as long as you feel the stretch and you're able to breathe deeply and keep your awareness on your intention of serenity. Again, moving slowly. Begin to come out of this pose by walking the hands back in, gently picking up the left knee, bringing the left leg out in front of you, and switching sides. So this time the left shin is parallel to the top of the mat. Left thigh bone comes directly out from the hip. Then bring that right leg back behind you so that the right thigh bone comes directly out from the hip, and the right shin is parallel to the right side of your mat. Again, feeling a stretch through the inner hip, this time on the right side. And if you need to deepen the stretch at all, you can begin to walk the hands back a little bit, or even lower all the way down into the forearms. However, don't compromise your breathing for a pretty posture. Pretty posture doesn't matter. This practice is for you. So in order to get the most benefit out of it, keep your mind centered on your intention of serenity and not focused on your ego. Slowly begin to come out of this pose by walking the hands in, gently lifting the right knee back up and bringing it around in front of you, coming into your seat. Then bring both soles of your feet to touch and allow the knees to go out to either side, coming into your butterfly pose. Now, if it's more comfortable for you, you can hold this pose upright, keeping the torso lifted, just grabbing onto the ankles and relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. However, if you would like, you can also fold forward by keeping a hold of the ankles and drawing the torso down, or you can interlace the fingers in front of the toes and bring the elbows in front of the shins to fold forward. You may need to walk the feet a little bit away from the hips here compared to when you normally do butterfly pose, and that's totally fine. I just want you to find a position that is comfortable in your body to hold for the next few moments as you focus on your breath. If you had folded forward, slowly begin to lift yourself back up, trying not to give yourself a whiplash here. Moving carefully. Then bring the hands to the outside edges of the thighs and bring the knees into close like a book. But then take the legs out wide, extending them out long, coming into a wide-legged seat. And again, either choosing to focus on staying lifted through the chest. You can bend into the knees a little bit to lift the chest high, take the rounding out of your lower back. Or you can fold forward here as well by walking the hands forward and just letting the neck relax. Only walking as far as is comfortable to keep both sits bones on the floor. So if you can walk your hands all the way out to your feet, but your bum comes up off the mat, I want you to sit back down and walk the hands in a bit. So really, again, prioritizing feeling comfortable in this stretch over looking cool in this stretch. Keeping your awareness on your intention of serenity, feeling serene. As slow as you can, keeping the chin tucked, just begin to walk the hands back in, and then slowly lift the shoulders and the neck. Coming back to your seat, you can grab onto the outer edges of the legs and bring them back in, crossing at the ankles and slowly moving into all fours. Stacking the knees under the hips, wrists underneath the shoulders, using this as a transition into our final pose today. If you already know that regular pigeon pose does not agree with your knees or your hips in order to hold for an extended amount of time, you can go ahead and come onto your back and take pigeon pose on your back instead by crossing the right ankle over the left thigh, threading the right hand in between the thighs to grab onto the back of the left thigh and hug the thighs in towards the chest. However, if you would like to come into a regular pigeon pose, you can draw the right knee to the outside behind the right wrist, bringing the shin up with it, keeping it down on the mat parallel to the top as much as is comfortable. So if you need to keep the heel in towards the hips a bit, that's a-okay. And extend that left leg back behind you, lowering the hips down, trying to distribute equal weight onto both hips. And once you feel stable in the lower body here, you can begin to lower down either onto the forearms or all the way down, coming into your pigeon pose. This is definitely the deepest hip opening pose of class today, so if you need to come out early, feel free. Just listen to your body as you sink into this pose and breathe into your intention of serenity. If you took the reclined pigeon pose, you can slowly just switch the cross of your legs. However, if you were in a regular pigeon, you can come up onto the palms. Begin to walk the left knee in so that you can extend the right leg back to meet it, coming back to your all fours. Then switching sides, bring the left knee to the outside edge of the left hand. Left shin is down on the mat, as parallel to the front of the mat as is comfortable, and extend the right leg back, lowering down into your hips, and then lowering down on the forearms as you're ready. And again, if you need to come out of this pose before I cue it, you can always feel free to just move into a child's pose or whatever. I want you to prioritize feeling serene over how you look. So if being in pigeon pose makes your mind totally scattered, find a pose that makes you feel serene. Cultivate that serenity with your breath as we breathe into our final pose before Shavasana. you had taken a reclined pigeon pose, you can go ahead and just uncross the legs and extend the legs out long. If you are in our regular pigeon pose, you can go ahead and walk the right knee in so that you can step the left knee back, coming into your all fours. Then shift both feet off to one side, lowering down into your seat, then rolling down onto your back. Trying to be mindful with your movements here. As you settle into your Shavasana, your corpse pose today, getting out any last little wiggles or movements in the body in order to find both stillness physically and mentally. So you can either choose to keep your awareness here on your breathing, like normal in Shavasana, or you can come back to that visualization of yourself lying in that place where you feel the most serene. Not trying to think about how you're going to get there or what you're going to do, but just relax in this place without worrying about the details. Coming back to your intention of serenity for these last few moments of your practice today, here in Shavasana. Slowly begin to bring some awareness back to your body, moving through the fingers and the toes, the ankles and the wrists. And inhale, extend both arms up and overhead, finding a full body stretch. Just taking a moment here to scan the body, noticing how every corner is feeling. Before bending into both knees and rolling over onto one side. Taking a moment here to thank yourself for showing up to rest on your mat today. Keeping the eyes closed, you can gently press yourself up into a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like in your body. And either place the hands on the thighs or bring the hands through heart center. And take 3 final grounding breaths as a class. In 3, 2, 1. Inhale. You can gently tuck the chin in and blink the eyes back open, coming back to the space around you.
I thank you all for choosing to practice with me here on your mats today. I hope this practice has left you feeling relaxed and serene, and let me know down in the comments below what other types of flows you would like to see from me next. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and help this baby YouTuber out. And I hope to see you again in my next video very soon. Bye guys!